Have you ever thought to yourself that you want to play God of War on the Nintendo Switch? Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. So why not stick with the next best thing? We have a brand new Switch port of Darksiders Warmastered Edition. So I'm going to give you my review on it. Welcome everybody to Tex-Mex Nerd Feed. My name is Mex and today I'm going to be doing a video by myself. Tex and I decided that because we have interests in other things that the other person does not, we will be doing our own individual videos from time to time. So he just recently did a Borderlands 3 trailer reaction, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Darksiders Warmastered Edition on the Nintendo Switch. So for anybody that is already familiar with the Darksiders franchise, you know that in 2010, Darksiders, the original game, was released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. In 2016, they released a remaster of the game called Darksiders Warmastered Edition that they released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So about 3 years later, we got a port of that Warmastered Edition, the remaster version of the original Darksiders game, to the Nintendo Switch on April 2nd. And I was introduced to the Darksiders series by my girlfriend, who was interested in the second one. I saw her play some parts of it, and I was very interested because my favorite genre of game is a hack and slash or 3D beat 'em up style game. So I was interested in learning more about it, especially because of how reminiscent it was to the old God of War games that I absolutely loved. So because of my interest in it, but only having access to Darksiders 2, I really didn't dabble in it as much as I really wanted to. So I always wanted to get the first version, and I just never got around to it. I was putting it off and putting it off. But then the Warmastered Edition came to Nintendo Switch on April 2nd, and I didn't hesitate to buy it because it's $30 in comparison to the normal $60 price point for games that come out. So I finally got a chance to try it, and I absolutely love it. It is exactly what I like. It is a 3D hack and slash game. It's got puzzle elements as well, as you would expect from the old school God of War games as well, and it's got a very interesting story. It definitely captures you. It's nothing on the level of God of War 4, but in reality, the original God of War games weren't really on the level of God of War 4. What I mean to say is God of War for PS4, not God of War 4. But anyway, the original God of War games are not anywhere close to being like the God of War for PS4. So, like I said, this is Darksiders Warmastered Edition. It definitely more closely resembles the previous God of War games. So for those that are familiar with the game, as I said before, you know that it was released about 9 years ago. So if you've played it already, I don't know if I would recommend playing it again. It's not like it was that captivating of a story. I didn't even get to finish the story yet, but it's not like it's something on the level of God of War for PS4, like I said, or Spider-Man for PS4, The Last of Us, anything like that. So I'm not necessarily sure that you should pick this up, but if it's been a while, you don't really remember, or you're that big of a fan of the Darksiders series, you can't beat the $30 price point and the portability that the Nintendo Switch has to offer. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Darksiders series, like I said before, it is a 3D hack and slash style game with some puzzle elements to it. It's got a couple changes to gameplay mechanics from time to time, like there are flying levels and so on and so forth. And it does break up the monotony a little bit, but it's usually the story, it's the narrative that makes you want to progress through the game. If you do not know the story behind Darksiders, at least the first one or Warmastered Edition, I guess it has something to do with 7 seals. And once the 7th seal is broken, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse come to the kingdom of man to bring out the end war and bring the apocalypse. So you start out the game as War, one of the 4 horsemen, and he shows up preemptively before the 7th seal has been broken, and people think that he has gone rogue due to that and has brought that apocalypse because of his actions, when in reality he didn't know why he was brought to the kingdom of man. So he is brought forward to the Charred Council, He and the other 4 horsemen belong to the Charred Council and carry out their laws. So because the 4 horsemen answer to the Charred Council brought War before them and kind of questioned him, well, why were you there? You shouldn't have been there. The last seal wasn't broken, so on and so forth. And War claims that he doesn't know why it occurred, and he is put forth on a mission to figure out why, to find out who was behind his appearance in the Kingdom of Man. There were 2 conditions in which War was able to proceed with this mission. The Charred Council stripped him of all of his previous powers and also bound him to a Wraith. For me, I geeked out a little bit because I found out that the Wraith was voiced by Mark Hamill, and he does like a little laugh, and that's when I realized that it was Mark Hamill that was voicing him. But he kind of acts as a guide from time to time, and his job, narrative-wise, is essentially to kill you if you stray off path of your mission. So, like I said, I didn't finish it yet. I wanted to get this review out as soon as possible because I did get a good portion of the story and I got a great amount of gameplay done and over with. So I know that it is a hack and slash. It is very reminiscent of the older hack and slash style games like God of War, Dante's Inferno, and it is just a very fun game to play. It's not like it is a very challenging game. It's not a Dark Souls level game. Heck, it's not even on a Skyrim level. You just kind of mash some buttons and kill a bunch of enemies. It does pose a challenge when you have the bigger bosses. There's a little bit more strategy to it. And the enemies don't have health bars, so you just kind of have to keep wailing on them, dodging, wailing on them, dodging, until it shows up with a prompt to hit A to kind of do a finishing move or whatever. That's how you know you've beaten that enemy. But another good part about this game that a lot of third-party developers don't really consider, or the companies that port the games to the Nintendo Switch don't really consider, they added a change in modes in the selection menu of the game. You can go into the options menu and you can select whether or not you want it in a high performance mode or you want it in a high quality mode. So high quality mode is that it runs it at higher resolutions, better graphics, and but it doesn't keep a stable frame rate. But there is a high performance mode that does decrease the visuals, the graphics, and the resolution, but it also keeps the frame rate at a steady 60 frames per second. And for a lot of people, that's where it's at. That's what's needed. So in this game, I've been playing on high quality mode and I didn't really notice a drop in frame rate. Maybe for those of you who are better at picking those types of things out, you would be able to notice it, but you have that option to select it to the high performance mode and then you don't have those drops in frame rate. Like I said, I didn't experience any drops in frame rate that was noticeable to me, but it is still good to put that in. I think that any third-party company that is going to be porting their game to the Nintendo Switch probably could keep that in mind, considering the fact that the Nintendo Switch unfortunately does have a lower processing power. It is not as powerful as competing consoles such as the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. So we have Mortal Kombat releasing April 23rd, and they just kind of made the decision that it is going to be 60 frames per second no matter what. They decided, hey, you know what, we're going to decrease the visuals. That, for a fighting game, makes sense. Yes, you kind of need those 60 frames per second with a fighting game. With other games, other visual games, maybe like the Skyrim port, a Doom port, get those same kind of options. Have that option for a high performance mode, so when you're running through hordes of demons in Doom, you don't drop your frame rate near as much. In the end, it is going to come down to your personal preference. Obviously, the computing power of a PlayStation 4 and Xbox is a lot stronger than that of a Nintendo Switch. And for me, I usually end up picking the portability over the power. I always choose that. I chose that for Mortal Kombat coming in. I chose that for Skyrim. I would much rather play Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch than any other console just because of the portability. With my job, it's just a lot more convenient for me. So that is my decision. But it's also an older game, so it's not really something that you have to rush out and buy right away, but if you do, keep in mind it still is only $30. So for $30, you can get a very good, a very fun game that you can take with you wherever you want. I would be interested to see if THQ Nordic had an idea to bring Darksiders 2 to the Nintendo Switch as well. I'm not sure if the Nintendo Switch is capable of not necessarily running Darksiders 3 on the Switch, but if they're able to fit Darksiders 3 onto the cartridge that the game needs. If they can, I would be interested to see if they did try to port that over to the Nintendo Switch as well, because like I said, I haven't really dabbled in the Darksiders series yet, except for this version. So this version is my introduction to Darksiders. It has popped my Darksiders cherry, and I really do enjoy it, and I'm appreciative of THQ Nordic bringing that to the Nintendo Switch. I believe that is it for me. I don't think I have anything else that I can discuss. I would, in my opinion, without beating the game yet, I would probably give the game about a 7 out of 10. It's nothing groundbreaking, obviously. It was released initially in 2010, but it still does have an intriguing story and definitely gameplay that I can get behind, because I am a very big fan of those hack and slash style games. If you like this video, there are going to be more following. There are a couple other Nintendo Switch games that I plan to do. Coming soon, however, we will be doing a Mortal Kombat 11 Switch versus Xbox comparison. So we will compare again power versus portability. If you like this video, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video when we drop them. We drop them every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. We will drop random ones from time to time depending on releases of specific games or movies. In that comment section below, let me know if you are a fan of Darksiders and if you were considering getting this for the Nintendo Switch, or if you just completely disregard it altogether just because of it is a 9-year-old game. It's not really worth your time. Share this video with your friends if they have a Nintendo Switch and they were considering getting Darksiders for it, or if you know that they are a fan of it. Maybe my opinion will sway them to pick it up, because like I said, it is a fun game, and to have it portable is a pretty cool option. It's a pretty neat option. And that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching.